All right. So here we go. This is um, a recipe that is fairly straightforward, fairly simple. There's not a whole lot of extra conversions that you have to do. So if you struggled with this right here on the screen, you may want to schedule some time to make sure you come into my office hours as we get ready for the project to ramp up after spring break. Okay, because you should be able to do this with almost no issues based on what we talked about in class already with the rub recipe, um, and also the examples that we did before that as well. So this is just a little bit of an extra practice and kind of a little self check for you based on how well you did with this. How well do you think you are poised to be successful with the project? Because I'm going to be honest, in the project, there's going to be some ingredients that are a little bit trickier than what you have here on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to work these out and go through each one of these so we can see those of you who struggled with this, you'll be able to kind of see how this all works out. Okay. So the first thing we want to look at is our standard recipe is 1 cupcake, 1 paper, 2 ounces of frosting, and 1 portion of sprinkles. So that's going to be our recipe side. And then we have our AP side. Okay. So for our paper, our AP is 90 cents per 50 papers. When we divide, and we need 1 paper. So when we divide 90 cents by 50, let me show it on the screen. 90 cents divided by 50 papers, we round that up to what?
2 cents.
To 2 cents, right? There's a third decimal place. So that's going to be 0, 2, 0.02. So 2 cents per paper times 1 paper is 2 cents. That's my total cost for the paper. Okay. In a different color for cupcakes. We have 168 cupcakes for it costs us $58.92. So $58.92. Remember, we have cost per unit. And that word per is our division line. So cost per unit of 168 cupcakes, 58.92 divided by 168 is 3.3507. So that's going to get rounded up to 36 cents per cupcake. Okay. We need one of those. So that's 36 cents. Oops. Next is the frosting. We have 4 pound recipe of frosting and it costs us $6.80. So I take $6.80 divided by 4 pounds. My recipe unit is 2 ounces. Do my units match? No, they do not. So I need to get them to match. How do I get them to match?
Ounces.
Okay, Zarina says to convert the pounds to ounces. So we multiply by 16 ounces and we get 48 ounces.
60.
Sorry, 64. 64 ounces. Sorry. Thank you. I said it so confidently. Divide by 64 ounces. When we divide $6.80 divided by 64 ounces, 0.106, which that rounds up to. Let me write this over here so you can see it a little bit better. 680 divided by 64 ounces This is equal to 11 cents per ounce. But I need two of them. Times 11 cents per ounce is 22 cents.
Mr. Miss, you have a question.
Yeah.
Um, so if we're costing out recipes, um, my question is, why would we round it? Would we not want to know like exactly how much, we spent on each thing to know exactly how much we spent in total? Because the part, like I had the initial part right, but I didn't round it, and so it ended up being wrong.
Right.
And so, because my thought process is, if I'm costing something out, I want to know exactly how much I spent on it. So the part of rounding is throwing me off.
Yeah, so that's why we're rounding up. We always round up to the nearest penny.
Okay.
So by rounding up to the nearest penny, we're going to account for any kind of, if any times that the ingredients or maybe are used in excess. Um, that's what the Q factor at the very end also kind of takes care of. But it also, if we look at it, like if we're costing out by the ounce, for example, like for flour, right? If we're costing out flour by the ounce, we want to go up to the nearest penny because we may be using flour in pounds, right? And so every time that we use some ingredients, for example, this particular ingredient, 0.625, that's basically 0.625 of a cent. That's like 60% of 1 penny, right? So if I did this recipe twice, then that's going to be an extra penny, right? That's added every single time. So that's why we round up. We always round up to the nearest penny. That's why normal rounding rules don't apply, right? Because if we take a look really quickly, let's do see, normal rounding rules would say that this, because this is a zero, this stays at 35 cents. But we always round up to the nearest penny. So we're going to basically cover, because all of these numbers right here, they all represent a portion of a penny, right? And so we will always want to round up to the nearest penny. That's going to take care of all of these extra numbers over here. So by rounding it up to the nearest penny.
Okay, so like no matter what, if it has a number, I guess after the third.
If there's a third number, we always round up to the nearest penny. Whatever that second number is, round it up to 1.
Got it.
Okay. Good question. All right, so the sprinkles. Let's do them real quick. Let me clean this up just a little bit. All right, so our sprinkles, we can decorate 32 cupcakes with 1 container of sprinkles that cost $1.88. So my cost is $1.88 divided by the 32 cupcakes that I can decorate with that. $1.88 divided by 32. Oops. 0.058. So that means I'm gonna round up to 0.06 cents, and I need 1 serving of my recipe amount is 1 serving. And I get 32 servings. So my units did match at the very beginning. Okay, so I add my 6 cents, add it all up. I got 66 cents. If you got 64 cents or 65 cents, I would count that correct. Okay, you're off by 1 or 2 pennies, but that's 66 cents per cupcake. Okay, now if we sell 30 cupcakes for $15, what is the food cost for 1 cupcake? Okay, so what is our cost for what is our selling price for 1 cupcake? Selling price for 1 cupcake, $15 divided by 30 is 50 cents per cupcake. And then using our triangle, 66 cents divided by 50 cents is a 1.32. Move that decimal place over, it's 132% is our answer. Okay? 132%. What does that number mean?
That we're operating on a loss.
We are operating at a loss. Every time I sell a cupcake for 50 cents, I'm actually losing 16 cents. Because it cost me 60 cents, 66 cents to make it, but I sell it for 50 cents, right? So what does that mean? I need to do what? I need to increase my selling price. Okay, good. I could increase my selling price, or I could do what? I could search out for cheaper ingredients. Okay, what else? What if I put no sprinkles and I only did 1 ounce of frosting instead of 2 ounces of frosting? That would save me 16 cents, would it not? 17 cents. I still wouldn't be making a profit, a very big profit, but I'd be making at least something. I won't be operating at a loss. But what might be an issue by decreasing the amount of frosting and taking the sprinkles away?
Might not look as attractive.
Okay, they don't look attractive, which means people may not buy them. Remember that cost and that value price relationship? If they see a product, they don't think it's worth that value, then they're not going to pay that. Okay. So there are all these things that you have to consider as you try to meet the expectations of your guests. So I will say this, these cupcakes, I got them from Sam's, and they are $16.48. Okay. So $16.48 for these cupcakes from Sam's. Okay. Let me clear my screen. Actually, let me just do this. Stop share. All right, so $16 and what I say, 48 cents? Okay. So $16.08 for 48 cents for 30 cupcakes. Okay. So what is my selling price per cupcake? 16.48 divided by 30.
55 cents.
55 cents per cupcake. Okay. So we're getting closer, right? We're only 11 cents off from that. Okay. Now, I don't know if these are actually Sam's prices as far as the ingredient cost is concerned, okay? Or what the recipe, if they use 2 ounces. I'm assuming they're using 2 ounces of frosting. Okay. So 55 cents per cupcake. Now, can they sell 55-cent cupcakes, or can they sell 66-cent cupcakes that it costs them to make? Can we sell them for 55 cents? What do you think? Yes or no?
I think so.
Okay, we have 2 no's, 1 confused look. I have a no with a question mark. What else? Any other comments, questions, concerns? Any yeses? Russell, why do you say yes?
Can you?
Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think yes. If you're talking about Sam's, they can sell a lot, so it's not gonna affect them. They can sell a lot and still make money out of it.
Okay, cool. Any other thoughts? In this situation, think about it this way. I went in to buy cupcakes. I paid $16.48 for 30 cupcakes. I bought 2 packages. Hopefully that will get me through all my cost control classes, which I think it will. But in addition to that, I spent about $130 on snacks. Okay. So in that case, I've heard this. I'm gonna see if I can find the article about it, but I've heard like they sell like that Sam's and Costco, they sell their rotisserie chickens for like $5, right? They actually operate at a loss, knowing that very rarely are people coming in just for a rotisserie chicken. They're gonna buy things other than that, right? It's the same reason why grocery stores set up and your milk and your eggs and that stuff is in the back of the store because it forces you to walk through all the other aisles and chances are you're going to pick up something else that maybe you weren't planning on picking up. Okay. So there are some times when you can operate at a loss. Is it advisable? No, I wouldn't advise, especially if you're a small business. Okay. I would never, ever, ever operate at a loss on any particular menu item. But in this case, like Russell said, it could be that they are potentially, because think about this. This is just the cost of the cupcake to make it, 66 cents. That does not include the cost of the packaging or the cost of the labor for somebody to frost those cupcakes. Okay. So it does take, it takes a lot, it's a lot more expensive than just the cost of the ingredients. All right. That's way more time than I thought I was going to spend on that activity, but that's okay. We're going to be fine. Any questions about that? Any questions about any specific ingredient? All right. I'm going to make a separate video for chapter 6.